Today on the Trent Out Loud podcast. The government is going to drag this out as long as they can. Diddy could possibly stay in jail for years awaiting trial. Years. What up? It's your boy Trent Out Loud, and I'm back with another episode. All right, it's Thursday morning, my second favorite day of the week because Friday is coming up. I got a good show set up for you guys today. Of course, we got more Diddy news to talk to you about because he was denied bail and he potentially could stay in jail up to years before his trial begins. So today on Diddy's recap, again, like I said, we're going to talk about him being denied bail. We're going to talk about the promises he made to the judge to get bail. Then we're going to talk about the feds revealing parts of Diddy and Cassie's text messages. We're going to talk about Cassie being the only victim listed in the case. We're going to talk about Diddy seeking treatment and therapy while in jail. Diddy beating a $100 million lawsuit. Boosie's opinion of Diddy. Stephen A. Smith talking about Hollywood insiders might be going down, which Hollywood insiders might be going down along with Diddy. And then we're going to close out this whole Diddy recap with thoughts on Jay-Z and his potential involvement with the Diddy case. Then when we're done with that, we're going to jump into quick news. We're going to talk about Denzel Washington. We're going to talk about the NYPD shooting 4 people in a subway and Red Lobster. Then, as we always do, we're going to close out with question of the day and a little bit of sports news. Y'all know what time it is. Turn your TVs, your radio, or your devices up. I'm about to start this show. Let's go. Judge denies bond for Diddy again. He will remain detained until the beginning of his trial. The judge says the government has proven the defendant is a danger. Regarding the bail package, it is insignificant, even on the risk of flight. All right, we got a lot to unpack here, but before I even get into this, I want you to hear directly from the lawyer himself, and then I'm going to talk to you about some of the key things that his lawyer is saying in this video. Take a listen.
We made a bail appeal to Judge Carter. It did not go our way. I told Mr. Combs I'm going to try and get his case to trial as quickly as possible. I understand that the government has a great amount of electronic devices that they have to download and provide to me, but everything's on the government's timetable.
All right, so 2 really key things. 1, Judge Carter. So the judge on yesterday, or the Tuesday, that was like a preliminary judge. Not to say that she wasn't important, but that wasn't the judge that was presiding over the case. So she first denied bail. The reason why he was able, Diddy's lawyers were able to go yesterday to Judge Carter is because Judge Carter is the judge that will be residing over the entire case. Why this is really important is that this is the judge who's going to judge the entire case. If he says no, that means that evidence is airtight. That already means that the judge don't like you. That's basically what I'm trying to get at. That judge is like, nah, you can't go on bail. You think that judge is going to be lenient throughout the trial? So the judge is already telling us indirectly, yo, I don't like you. I don't like what you did. This evidence is scaring me. I think you're a danger. I'm not even letting you out on bail. I'm going to tell you guys all of the things that Diddy promised so that he could be let out on bail, on top of the things that I already told you yesterday, okay? We're going to get to that. Now, here's another important thing in that video that you just heard is that when his lawyer says, I understand that the government has a lot of devices that they have to download and give to me, and we're on the government's timetable. What does that mean? The government is going to drag this out as long as they can. They are going to try every single trick in the book to have this trial start as late as possible. Why? What is the federal agents and prosecutor? What is their goal? To put Diddy in jail. Now, the longer they take to start the trial, the more beneficial to them because they want him in jail. Whether he's in the jail that he's in now or another jail, they just want him behind bars. So in the case that, let's say he gets found not guilty, let's just say, they want it to be after 2 or 3 years of him being in jail, right? So they don't want this to happen quickly in case they lose. They want him behind bars. They want him off the streets because they look like they won if he's behind bars. Here's another reason why they want to keep him behind bars. as long as possible because it's going to weigh on him. The quicker that he has a trial, the easier it is for him. But the longer that he's in there, it breaks your confidence. It breaks your morale. Christmas is coming up. Man, Diddy has 6 kids, huh? Can't see my kids for Christmas. You know Diddy loves a New Year's Eve party. Wow, look where I am on New Year's, in a cell, by myself. You know what I mean? Like the events, birthdays. So after a year and then you get frustrated, that's when now the prosecution and the feds could walk in and be like, yo, bro, we could keep on delaying this for another 2 years, 3 years. We could keep playing these games. You want to cut a deal with us? You want to give up politicians? You want to give up other celebrity names? Like the longer that he stays in jail, the worse off it is for him and the better it is for the prosecution. Diddy could possibly stay in jail for years awaiting trial. Years. And that is a huge win for the prosecution and the feds. Like I said yesterday, when these kind of things happen, it's not only about the end result, it's about all the wars that are in the middle. And in this whole battle, the federal agents and the prosecution has won the first war. Diddy is already fighting with holes in his ship. You know what I'm saying? Like his ship is not sinking, but he has a big hole in it already. You got to fight this trial behind bars. All right. So that was the first thing. Diddy denied bail by the judge who is presiding over his case. Huge. All right. I'm going to talk to you guys now about some of the reasons why the judge said no, that he can't come out. He said, I heard from the parties. I find that the government has proven the defendant is a danger. Regarding the bail package, it's insignificant, even on the risk of flight. Okay, I read that to you earlier. Then, this is Diddy's lawyer. He says he was an actual altar boy. The judge says, how far back are we going? He says he watches sermons every day. He has done a great deal to earn the court's trust. I ask you to please release him. Of course, the judge says no. Diddy's lawyer returns back and says, I have brought to you today the head of SAG agency. We are proposing that SAG agency personnel and monitor Diddy. So what that means is, okay, we have a law, not a law enforcement, but we have a security agency that we are going to pay to monitor Diddy for you. He's going to stay in his house and we're going to actually hire supervision for you that will report to you what Diddy is doing. Still denied that. So now when his lawyer was done with that, the prosecution came out and it was their chance. And these are some of the things that they said. They said, immediately after Diddy assaulted Cassie, he sent her a text message saying, call me, the cops are here. I got 6 kids. Yo, call me. I'm surrounded. The prosecution also reminded the judge that they seized 6 guns. They were at the defendant's home and he had access to them. We are focused on the defendant's guns in the defendant's closet. Okay. So those were some of the things: text messages, harassing people, and he has guns. Now, Diddy's lawyer was like, okay, that's fine, but here's what I propose to you. Okay. Home detention with a GPS monitor tracking system. So not only are we going to hire security to watch over him and police him at his own house, we're going to wear an ankle monitor. They also propose to restrict all visitors to Mr. Combs' residence, meaning nobody is allowed to come over. I actually talk about that in a couple of more segments down. We're going to get in more detail, but he's like, nobody else will come over to my house except for my family, carekeepers. He also says, I want to restrict all females. No females will come over to my house while we await for trial. Then he also says, I'll hire a security company, which I told you about that. He'll have no contact with the grand jury witnesses. He'll have weekly testing for drugs and all other standard conditions of pretrial supervision. All of that Diddy offered up, plus the $50,000 package, the $50 million package that I told you about yesterday. The judge said, nah, brah, you're staying in jail. A huge loss for Diddy. Huge. All right. Now let's jump to the text messages. I just read you one that the prosecution revealed. There was more. Okay. So Assistant USA reveals content of the text messages between Diddy and Cassie after their assault in 2016. So I read this one already. Call me. The cops are here. I got 6 kids. Yo, they got me surrounded. Call me. She referred to the incident involving Cassie, which led to the violent encounter seen on CNN. The defendant had a freak off on March the 5th, 2016. We have evidence that there was one commercial sex worker in the room during the assault. She isn't even wearing shoes. She's in danger. And the defendant storms in with a towel. This is what they're getting from their text messages, okay? The prosecution also says, we have messages from the victim, and they say things like, I still have crazy bruising. He claims he wants to get his clothes back, but that's not what's happening here. She's trying to escape the room with the defendant, and the commercial sex worker is in there, and she is trying to flee without her shoes. They go on to say the defendant, Diddy, knew what he had done, and he knew that could elicit a police response. Okay, so that is part of the text messages. They're not really what's actually writing. They're just giving us what's going on. Hey, there's a girl in here. She's trying to escape. We don't want to let this girl escape. Don't let him back in the room. These are all things that the judge is hearing. And this is part of the reasons why he is saying that he doesn't want to let Diddy out, is that if this is what you're doing right after you're hitting your girlfriend, what else would you be doing if you're out on bail? If you're out on bail, are you going to go back after her? Are you going to be violent to her? Are you going to be violent to the other sex workers that are in the case? The judge is saying that he doesn't trust Diddy outside because of the video that CNN leaked and the text messages going on between Cassie and Diddy. They're not remorseful. They're not, he's not being apologetic. He's being even more forceful with her and, texting her because he knows that the police could be coming around. All right. So that was the text messages that the lawyers used. Now let's move on to what his attorney said after that to rebuttal the text messages and him being a danger. He's trying to show that Diddy and Cassie were both in a toxic relationship and they were also violent with each other. Before I read that, it's really important to note, a lot of people don't know this. In the 14-page indictment, the only victim that is in this case is Cassie. There's 49 other witnesses, but the only victim of all the charges that he's listed, there's only one victim, and that is Cassie. Now, if you look at all the other civil lawsuits, there's a bunch of other people claiming they're victims, but for some reason, the FBI and the prosecution in this indictment and these charges that he's being charged with, the only victim in this case is Cassie. That's why, just what I talked about before, they're only using text messages between him and Cassie. And this is why now Diddy's lawyer is going to explain and break down to the judge about the relationship. Listen to this, okay? So Cassie and Diddy's relationship is discussed during arraignment. Diddy's lawyer says his toxic relationship was mutual. He said, Mr. Combs is not a perfect person. These toxic relationships were mutual. If there's one thing we've seen, we should stand with people who are trying to get the help they need. He goes on to say, these two people were in love. Victim 1, who's Cassie, ended up marrying the trainer that Mr. Combs got and hired for her. They have been cheating on each other for years. But now she has 2 kids with that trainer. Years later, she realized she had a good thing with Mr. Combs. Okay, so what is he doing there? He's establishing that, you know what? My client's not perfect. Yeah, he did stuff. We definitely know you saw him in the elevator. You saw him outside the elevator hitting her, but they had a toxic relationship. He's planting in the judge's head. Listen, my client got the victim, a trainer. She was cheating on him with the trainer. Yeah, you know how it feels to be cheated? People get violent sometimes. People get stupid. Okay, fine. But that doesn't mean that he's a drug kingpin, right? That's what he's trying to establish. He's trying to say that Cassie did things to him. And later on, I think, too, I will read to where they said once that Cassie also hit Diddy in the back of the head with the phone. He's trying to establish that they're both verbally assaultive with each other, okay? Then he goes on to show that she's just after money. He went on to say, years later, she has her lawyers call his lawyers and say, hey, I'm writing a book, but if you want to buy the rights, you can have those rights for $30 million. We have the recorded conversation. It did not go over well with her lawyers November the 23rd, and then she continued to sue. Okay, so establishing, hey, this victim was ready to sell the rights and do everything for $30 million. If you guys remember the civil lawsuit with Cassie, $30 million. Diddy, I don't know what happened in the beginning before it went public, why he didn't try to settle with her, but I guess he figured, hey, it's been, 8 or 9 years. She hasn't come out. Maybe she's not serious. Maybe I could threaten her. I don't know what made Cassie came out. She came out. He settled 24 hours later, but now everything has spiraled out of control. Trust me, I'm sure he wishes he would have bought the rights. However, his lawyer is trying to establish, this victim was ready to keep her mouth shut for $30 million. So how much of a victim is she really? I'm not giving my opinion here. I'm just showing you what his lawyer is trying to do, okay? Now, here is the part where I was telling you about his lawyer saying that how she was abusive to him as well. Diddy's lawyer alleges Cassie hit him in the head with a cell phone after finding out that he had more than one girlfriend, okay? He said, 2 people were in a hotel room, an issue that Mr. Combs had more than one girlfriend. Victim 1 was looking through his phone and saw that he was indeed talking to another girl, then hit him in the head with the cell phone and took his clothes. So that's why he's running out with a towel. Now, we don't know because all we see on the video that CNN leaked a couple of months ago is Diddy running out the hotel room in a towel, grabbing and pulling Cassie down. His lawyer is trying to, take the rhetoric out of that and say, hey, you guys don't know what happened inside the hotel room. What happened is that Diddy, she caught Diddy talking with another girl. She threw the phone at him, took all his clothes and ran out. That's why you see my client running out without a towel. My client is the victim. He was hit in the head with a cell phone. That's why he ran out in a towel, grabbed her at the front of the elevator, grabbed her down and was kicking her and dragged her back in the room. Your client that you're claiming is a victim is really abusive to my client as well. So that is what he is talking about. All of that went on. Regardless, the judge was like, hey, I hear both sides. You're still staying in jail, Diddy. You got guns. You got 1,000 bottles of baby oil. You're texting people. You're harassing people. You're staying in jail, bro. All right. So that's the whole process of Diddy getting a second chance to get bail and then being denied and why. Okay. Now that is out the way, let's talk about one story that's out there about Diddy seeking treatment and therapy while he is in jail. All right. So Diddy's attorney reveals that the rap mogul is under treatment and therapy amid his legal problems. There is a lot to unpack regarding Sean Diddy Combs and his recent legal struggles, particularly following his arrest and unsealed indictment that brought into light 3 serious federal charges: racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, coercion, and transportation of prostitution. Okay. During the arraignment hearing September the 7th, Diddy's attorney revealed that the music mogul is currently receiving treatment and therapy amid his legal woes and prison stay. While details about the specific nature of this treatment were not disclosed, Diddy's lawyers noted that he is addressing issues that he respectfully needs help with. He also acknowledged Diddy's imperfections, mentioning past drug use and toxic relationships, which he describes as often mutual in their negativity. He says Mr. Combs is not a perfect person. There has been drug use. There has been toxic relationships, which I think were mutual in their toxicity, as these things often are. So let me tell you what's going on there. And I'm a big mental health advocate, as you all know. I'm not saying that Diddy is not going through treatment or not going through therapy, but putting that in now in the beginning is going to have Diddy get a little bit of relief while he's in jail. Sort of like somebody who is, sick with something. We heard that about Vybz Kartel. Oh, he's sick. He needs this kind of attention. Okay, let's let him out early. So if he's getting treatment and he's going through therapy, then he could be transferred to not imprisonment, where he could be transferred into a treatment facility if he has mental issues, or it could allow him to continue that therapy while he's in jail. So, he's going to get special treatment because he's a celebrity. He's going to be put in a special section, but it could mean where 5 hours a day he gets to go out in this special place because of his mental health and the treatment that he needs. So his lawyer is establishing things at the beginning. Again, not saying that he's not doing these things, just saying that that is what they want to establish now, and not, let's say if he gets found guilty and it's like, hey, sorry, my client needs all these things. He's letting him know now, hey, my client is getting certain treatment. He's getting certain therapy. We need that going forward if he has to spend the rest of his life in jail. All right. So that is another thing. All right. Now let's move on to a past Diddy suit, which I thought was really important. I talked with you guys about this last week. There was a lawsuit that Diddy was facing for $100 million, and a judge ordered Diddy to pay $10 million a month for this case. But I told you guys that this case was frivolous, and it was only because Diddy didn't show up. Well, now we all know where Diddy is, and he's behind bars. So, this case got thrown out, but not only because of that, but just because it was frivolous. So the $100 million lawsuit by Detroit inmate against Diddy has been overturned. All right, Derek Lee Smith filed a $100 million lawsuit against Diddy after alleging that he drugged and sexually assaulted the mogul after attending a 1997 party in Detroit. Civil lawsuits have no statute of limitation. 1997, okay? According to TMZ, Diddy's attorneys convinced the judge to dismiss the judgment because Smith failed to prove he effectively served the lawsuit in accordance with Michigan law. All right, here's what's really important. The judge in Michigan also dismissed a temporary restraining order against Diddy that was preventing him from selling off assets to cover damages, with the likelihood of him winning, considering the statute of limitation due to Smith's claims dating back to 1997. So what does that mean is that this case, because Diddy didn't show up, his judge was like, hey, sorry, not the judge. His lawyers were like, yeah, Diddy didn't show up because this guy really didn't present the case properly. We didn't know about it. We're here now. Okay, dismiss it. And by the way, now that my client is locked up, he's going to need money. So please, the judge put a restraining order on him to not be able to sell any of his assets. Diddy is now free again to sell and do whatever he wants. Sell off maybe that Miami home now that he's not going to get bail. We're going to see Diddy liquefying a lot of his assets because he's going to need to be cash heavy, because now that he's in jail, he's got to have to fight all of these charges, right? And there's also all these civil lawsuits that are coming up too, right? All right, so let's move on now to some reaction from Hollywood, okay? I found two things that I really want to talk to you guys about. Now, Boosie, who some of you might not know, is a very opinionated hip-hop rapper. And for those of you who do know Boosie, Boosie is very outspoken, says whatever he wants. He's one of the only people that are on Diddy's side. And he put this out on Twitter, and he got a lot of positive reaction for it. I want to know what you guys think, all right? He said, I feel Diddy is in jail basically for doing what every other famous entertainer has done. Flying girls out for threesomes. He's just freakier. We actually go call women prostitutes for flying and willingly being at the party having sex. That's not prostitution. If that's the case, if you've been flown out and you had sex, should you be labeled as a prostitute? If that were the case, 80% of the women reading this Twitter message right now, y'all are trafficking. If you're a celebrity, you gotta fly girls out. Who else is going to give you the P word, okay? Who else is gonna have sex with you? When I first saw the video, I was really pissed off at Diddy, and I was really like, yo, you got a problem. But facing life in prison for basically doing what every other male entertainer has done or is doing is not fair, right? So basically, he's like, yo, I really mad at him for the beating of Cassie. I don't really like that. However, he's saying that he doesn't feel like, because you're a celebrity and if you're flying girls out, hey, we're celebrities, we're traveling around, we fly girls out to meet us, and these girls are interested in us and they're having sex with us. Is that sex trafficking? Because that's what sex trafficking is, is trafficking women beyond state lines. So if you're in Vegas and you take up a girl, you fly her to New York or you fly her from New York, whatever, that's sex trafficking. So, he's like, yo, celebrities do that all the time. And you do see that. However, the problem that Boosie is missing, and what a lot of people are missing, is that he's not in jail right now and possibly for years for having freak-offs and for, having multiple women and sex partners. That's not the problem. The problem is when these women wanted to go and when they wanted to leave, he allegedly didn't want them to go. And he had people coerce the women to stay, drug them to get them to stay, use, again, this is all alleged, but use weapons and guns to threaten them. And he recorded a lot of them and was like, yo, I have a recording of you. If you don't stay here and do what I say, I'm going to put this recording out. I'm going to ruin your music career. I'm going to do this or whatever. Again, this is all alleged. We don't know if it's true, but this is what the prosecution is saying. So while Boosie is right on the first part of it of like, yeah, a lot of entertainers do that. Yeah, but you know what a lot of entertainers also do? When the girl wants to leave and she's not interested anymore, he's like, yo, bye. And they get a new girl to come in. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the problem that Diddy had, right? Cassie was trying to leave the hotel room. His lawyer's claiming it's because he hit her in the head with a cell phone. Hey, she hits me in the cell phone. That doesn't mean I get a right to drag her down and do all that. She wants to leave, leave. That is why Diddy's in jail, people, all right? It's not the freak off. It's not this. It's not whatever. It's everything that came after that, okay? Now, talking about the tapes, I talked with you guys yesterday, all right? And this is how I ended off my Diddy segment yesterday, was really about what else is going on in Hollywood. Who else was on those tapes? Who else is going to be incriminated? Who else is Diddy going to bring down with him? And Stephen A. Smith was on his podcast talking about it, and I wanted you guys just to hear it from Stephen A. Smith. Take a listen.
Are the folks in Hollywood lying back, wondering who's next? Diddy is going to dime out a whole bunch of people. It seems like that's what everybody's waiting for right now.
This is going to be ugly. There's going to be reverberations throughout Hollywood.
To me, that's the next big break in this story because, you know, this Diddy stuff, like, okay, he's in jail now or whatever, blah, blah, we're awaiting trial. We'll hear things along the way. Oh, Diddy did this or did that, whatever. The next big, huge story to break is who is Diddy bringing down with him? Who is on those tapes? I said that yesterday. Stephen A. Smith was talking about it yesterday. Who is on those tapes? Who was complicit? Who was doing the freak offs with him? Who else? And now that Diddy is in jail, possibly for years awaiting trial, I bet you we're going to start hearing some big names drop so that he can get out of jail. Stay tuned for that. Lastly, because Jay-Z is the one who's always talked about as the next one to go down, I caught this tweet that somebody wrote about Jay-Z, and they said, I think the difference between Jay-Z and his peers is that he grew up. He transitioned out the rap game and got a wife and settled down. A lot of these dudes still running around like Nino Brown, and now they're getting caught up in all these scandals. So, yes, Jay-Z has Beyonce now. He has his kids. He has all of that. But the rumors is that Jay-Z was wild back in the days, right? Wilder than Diddy, some reports say. He was just smarter and wasn't so overt with it, like the cameras and the recording it or whatever. But apparently Jay-Z, again, was with Diddy a lot of these times. Y'all know that they're super tight. And they're saying that he's next up. All this is alleged. I don't know what's going on. Of course, I will do what I've been doing for the past 3 days. I will keep you guys up to date. I'm sure there's still going to be more stuff tomorrow. I told you all from the beginning of the week. We're going to hear about Diddy all week. Keep it locked to the Turn Out Loud podcast. I will let you guys know of any movements, anything that happens. Also, if you guys heard of anything, if I forgot to say anything today, please send me an email, trent@cfqr600.com. Comment below this comment below this video. Let me know if there's any news that I forgot. I'll talk about it next episode. Also, send me a DM at Trent Out Loud. All right, this brings us to quick news. Ring my bell. All right, I got to get through quick news quickly because, again, like yesterday, I'm running low on time. All right, Denzel Washington says he wanted to avoid a bad accent amid criticism of him using his own accent in Gladiator 2. Denzel Washington is standing firm on his accent choice for Gladiator 2. In an interview with Empire magazine, the 69-year-old actor addressed the decision to use his own accent for a role as a North African. He says, well, the thing was, where are we? Where would the accent be? What would it sound like anyways? You're going to end up imitating somebody and you're going to end up with a bad African accent. So there's a little bit more to it, but like I said, I'm running low on time. I love Denzel Washington for this. I hate when a great actor is in a great movie and they have a horrible accent. It's just so like, it just ruins the movie for me, especially a Jamaican accent, because I'm Jamaican and it's so horrible. It just breaks the character for me. So I could just imagine the millions of African fans that he has, they're going to go watch this and be like, bro, you do not sound like nobody from North Africa. So I like his decision. And also, I'm excited for Gladiator 2. I didn't even know that they were filming this. So shout out to Denzel Washington, and I agree with this decision. All right, in our second quick story, NYPD shoots 4 people over unpaid $2.90 subway fare. Listen to this. The NYPD spent $150 million extra last year to catch people who were unable to afford to pay the subway. If you add all those people that jumped the subway, they owed a total of $104,000. So do the math. The NYPD spent $150 million, and they are estimating that there was around $104,000 of people jumping the subway. This is just crazy to me. People are saying that the $150 billion could have been spent on giving people free fare. And this is just ridiculous, right? Instead, they shot 4 people, including 1 officer. The NYPD shot 4 people, including one of their own officer, over fares of $2.90. This is what we mean when we say police protect property, not people. Mayor Eric Adams tweeted this out. He said, early today, one of our officers was shot while protecting our subway system. I am relieved to report he's in good condition, and we have arrested the suspect who put many lives in danger. I cannot thank these officers enough for their bravery. Bro, why are you going after people for $2.90? Why are we even getting violent with people with that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure you didn't go after the guy and he turned around and shot with you, right? I'm sure he didn't turn around and shoot at you. I'm sure this is the police officers with their guns, holding their guns out, like harassing people for hopping the subway system. I'm not saying that it's right to hop the subway system. I'm sure there's going to be people in the comment section that's like, do stupid things and get stupid results, but it's like $150 million to save $100,000. Like, it doesn't make sense, right? There should be no guns being drawn on people for hopping the subway. It's just crazy. And lastly, in our fourth quick story, another follow-up, Red Lobster speaks out after exiting bankruptcy and promises new improvements. Days after exiting bankruptcy, Red Lobster is speaking out and thanking supporters for their support during the rocky period. The chain promises new improvements to food. And obviously I don't have time to read this letter, but like I said to you, when everybody was like, oh, Red Lobster's closing, they're filing for bankruptcy, there's Chapter 7, there's Chapter 11. They filed for protection. They reallocated their debts. You make deals. You're like, hey, would you rather I file for bankruptcy and close, or I stay open and reallocate my funds, pay you kind of like half of what I owe you, and you let me slide? So they're out. They've closed a lot of their bad locations. We do not have any locations in Montreal, but I know there's mad locations in Ontario and Toronto. As soon as I go back to Toronto, I am going to check out a Red Lobster. We've been following this story. Flavor Flav, that's his favorite restaurant. And I'm sure they had even like a commercial while going through bankruptcy with Flavor Flav. So, Red Lobster is like a cult classic. Everyone has gone to a Red Lobster at least one time. It's fast food seafood. You know what I mean? It's the McDonald's of seafood. So, it's a hood favorite. So shout out to Red Lobster. Shout out to my Red Lobster fans. And as soon as I touch down in Toronto, I'll be rolling up to a Red Lobster near you. All right, this brings us to question of the day. Which zodiac sign do you think is the weakest? All right, in transparency, I know nothing about astrological signs, so I just got to go on what these people are saying, but I don't know anything about astrology. All right. Unforgettable Johnny said, please don't confuse Cancer sensitivity for weakness. All right, I'm a Cancer, so yeah, don't confuse my sensitivity for weakness. I concur. Somebody else said Virgo and whatever sign Rashida is. Okay, I don't get that joke, but I'm sure somebody in the comment section will tell me. Babyface AM said, I don't know which one is weak, but I definitely know I ain't one. And then he put his sign, which I said I have no idea. I think maybe it might be a Libra. I don't know. Rudy _RR said, see the way nobody says Gemini, very demure, very mindful. Melina Kiki 35 said, Libra might be considered a lot of things, but weak, we will not be one of them. Been through all the comments. Nobody said Aquarius. Y'all already know we too strong. All right, here, somebody wrote a little paragraph. Too obsessed _82 said, all fire signs, because they are so competitive and swear somebody is taking control of them. They are so insecure and weak, especially Sagittarius, who are always competing. And Aries are control freaks. Leo as attention seeker, and they're all weak. Bye. All right. Baka Cook said, don't say Cancer unless you can fight or block hot fish grease. Thank y'all in advance. Yo, why is everybody like defending the Cancer movement out here? Somebody said definitely not Leo. Somebody says Aries is the weakest. Somebody said none of the earth signs for sure. They all strong. They said, somebody wrote everybody but Scorpio. All right, here's somebody saying something bad about Cancer. Somebody said none, but Cancer and Pisces sure act weak right before they betray you. What? Cancer and Pisces sure act weak right before they betray you. Yo, this is horrible, man. All right, I'll read two more. Somebody said Cancer's got the most heart. Y'all got us effed up. All right. Definitely not Gemini, especially a June Gemini. All right, let me know your answers to that. Which astrological sign do you think is the weakest? Comment below, send me a DM, or send me an email, trent@cfqr600.com. All right, this brings us to sports news. All right, I finally got some Canadian news. All my Canadian subscribers are always like, yo, I was talking about U.S. news. All right, here is some Canadian news for y'all, all right? Rogers Communication to buy out Bell's share of MLSE for $4.7 billion. All right, for those of you who don't know who MLSE is, did I say FE before? MLSE. Bell has sold its stake in the Maple Leafs Sports and Entertainment. That's what MLSE stands for. The owners of the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Toronto Raptors. The Rogers Communications for $4.7 billion. The deal is set to close in mid-2025 as Bell aims to reduce debt and transition to a tech company. Bell Media secured content rights to the team on TSN for 20 years through an agreement with Rogers pending league approval. So Bell is still going to have rights to distribute the games, but they won't own the Leafs and the Raptors anymore. Rogers will. Now, knowing that Rogers is going to own them, I wonder if it's still going to stay Scotiabank Arena or if it's going to go to Rogers. I miss the days of being at the ACC. To me, it's the ACC. It's the Air Canada Centre. But I'm sure they're going to maybe buy out or do something with Scotiabank Arena and have it change over to Rogers Centre. Anyways, that's it. That is a wrap. Thank you for hanging out with me. Don't forget to come back on for tomorrow for Friday's episode. We got one more episode, y'all. For those of you who are new to the station, by the way, thank you so much for all the love and support. Oh, I forgot to say that yesterday's episode was our biggest. The day before that, I think it was Tuesday's episode, was our biggest. Wednesday did 3 times that on YouTube. So now we are at our biggest ever. So thank you for all the new subscribers, the new people who are watching the show. I hope you really like the show. Thank you so much for all your support. I'm going to remind you guys of all the way to stay up with the Try Out Loud podcast. If you're used to watching this show on YouTube or podcast channels, please try to check me out on cfqr600.com. All you have to do is go to any device, type in cfqr600.com. The station will pop up. Click the Live Now button at the top, and you'll hear me from 11 to 12. It's a Try Out Loud podcast, but we mix it in with 90s and 2000s hip-hop and R&B. It's a great hour, great way to break up your day and get your entertainment news. Vice versa, if you're used to listening to this on CFQR 600 or 600 AM if you're in the Montreal area, and you can always catch the show from 11 to 12, don't worry. You can always catch the show on YouTube or podcast. Just go to your desired site, type in Trend Out Loud. The show will pop up. Don't forget to hit the follow and subscribe button so that you can be notified every time we upload a new show. And we upload shows daily. This is a weekly, daily show, Monday through Friday, all right? So never miss a show. Make sure to follow us. If you're like me and you like to watch your podcast, Spotify now supports video, so you have YouTube and Spotify. Follow me on any social platforms at Trent Out Loud, the media company, the media production company, Exclusivity Media on Instagram. And that's it, man. Stay tuned for Don Smooth. He has the lunch hour mix. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Trent Out Loud. Peace.